Welcome to the Explainer. You've probably seen them around your school, right? Students in those military-style uniforms, learning about leadership and discipline. That's the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, or JROTC. But what's it really all about? Today, we're going to go inside the program to understand its history, its mission, and what it actually offers students.
So, let's start with this single question, which comes directly from the JROTC curriculum itself. This is going to be our guide today. It really cuts through all the assumptions about marching and uniforms and gets right to the heart of the program's purpose. Let's keep this question in our back pocket as we dig in.
All right, so to answer that big question, we've got to start with the basics. So let's get right to it. What exactly is JROTC?
Okay, so the full name, it's a mouthful. Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. Now, when you hear that name, you might immediately think it's just a military prep program. But look at the official definition. It actually points somewhere totally different. Personal success and citizenship. Those are the two real pillars we're going to explore.
And here it is, the mission statement itself. It is so incredibly direct: to motivate young people to be better citizens. Notice what it doesn't say. The focus isn't on recruitment. It's on motivation. It's on citizenship. Everything else in the program is built to serve this one single goal. Now, this mission didn't just appear out of thin air. To really get what JROTC is all about, you have to jump in a time machine and go back more than 100 years to a really pivotal moment in American history. It all kicks off right here with the National Defense Act of 1916. Now, think about what was going on in the world then. World War I was raging over in Europe, and there was this feeling of deep uncertainty everywhere. So Congress created JROTC as a way to prepare the nation's youth for whatever the future might hold, by focusing on character and leadership from a young age. So you can see this incredible arc through history, from its creation way back in 1916 through more than a century of massive change. The program has stuck around and adapted. And that brings us right here to today, where you are, right now, exploring what this long-standing tradition is all about. So, with that history as our foundation, let's look at the absolute heart of the program, the promise that the students themselves make. This is what's known as the Cadet's Promise. This is a key line from the Cadet Creed, and it's basically the core promise. It's all about holding yourself to a higher standard. And I think the order here is really fascinating. It starts with family, then it expands out to country, school, and then finally the Corps of Cadets. It frames your personal responsibility as this series of ever-expanding circles of influence. So when we use this word, cadet, this is what it means. It's not just a title, It means you're a student who has bought into that promise, to be part of a team, and to actively push yourself toward personal growth. Okay, so we've got the history, we get the values, but what do cadets actually do? Let's go inside the program and see what a day in the life is really like. The program has a serious academic backbone. Let's just unpack this for a second. Leadership theory, that's like a management course for high schoolers. Foundations for Success covers all these practical life skills. We're talking financial literacy, setting goals. Then, of course, you've got your core citizenship and history classes, and even hands-on wellness, fitness, and first aid training. It's way more holistic than you might think. And all that classroom theory, it gets put into practice right away. Cadets get actual leadership training. They design and run their own community service projects, and they're constantly working through team-building exercises. The whole model is really built around one simple idea. You learn best by doing. Now, what's really interesting here is how they teach. The curriculum uses this 4-step model. First, you inquire. You start with what you already know. Then you gather new information. Next, you process it all, trying to make sense of it. And finally, and this is the most important step, you apply that knowledge in a real, practical task. It's this cool cycle of continuous learning and growth. So, after all that, what does this all add up to? What's the real, tangible advantage for a student who completes the whole program?
So, what's the end game here? Well, these are the official outcomes. The program is trying to produce graduates who act with integrity and accountability. That's the character piece. They're expected to engage in civic concerns. That's that community service part. And ultimately, the whole goal is to get them ready for life after high school, whether that's college or a career, and give them a solid framework for making good decisions. It's basically a blueprint for success.
And that brings us right back where we started, back to that original question. After seeing the history, the values, the curriculum, and the goals, how does JROTC actually help you become a better citizen? The answer, when you look at everything, is pretty clear. JROTC aims to make you a better citizen by focusing on 3 key areas: building up your practical skills, strengthening your personal character, and developing your sense of purpose and your responsibility to others. It's the whole package. So, we'll leave you with one final question to think about. From developing leadership to serving your community, what part of the JROTC challenge are you ready for? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.